Okay, for the rice pilaf, you're going to need a quarter cup of rice, half a cup of chicken stock, and a quarter of an onion. You're going to be using Uncle Ben's converted rice. It is a rice that's parboiled. This is not minute rice. This is the rice that is used in all the restaurants that they use. It holds really well. Okay, first thing you want to do is you want to get your pot on. You're going to use a sauce pot. You're going to add some oil, either olive oil or vegetable or canola oil. Make sure you get that in nice. What we're going to do is we're going to do what we call the pilaf method, and we're going to toast the rice. While the rice is toasting, you could be dicing up your onion. Very important not to leave it unattended, as the rice could burn. But this right here, by toasting the rice, is called the pilaf method. Okay, so you can see it's starting to toast. So as that's going, go ahead and get your onion, and you're going to do your dice, roughly a quarter of an onion. And as it's starting to toast, you may add your onion. You could also add garlic to this. I'm just going to go with the basic onion. And all you're doing with your onion is just sweating it out. So that's why you want to get your rice toasted, as you can see. And that's a close-up of what it should look like. Again, don't burn it. Okay, at this point, once you've got it toasted, you're going to add your stock. And that is a half a cup of stock. I'm using chicken stock here. You have two options. You can either leave it on the stovetop with the lid on it and cook it on the stovetop for 19 minutes and then let it rest an additional 15 minutes or 10 minutes. Or you can go into the oven, 350 degrees for 19 minutes covered. Okay, I'm going to actually put mine in the oven. Again, you can do it on the stovetop or you can do it in the oven. Oven is a little more foolproof. Okay, the next step is you want to get your pot of water going. I'm going to show you here. Okay, I got a pot of water with, I add a little salt to it. You always want to salt your water with your vegetables. And we're going to go ahead and prep that up. Get your peeler. Again, the proper way to do a carrot is to actually rotate it off your hand. You don't want to do any of this. You actually want to kind of rotate as you go. Okay, you get those in. We're going to do a bâtonnet cut. And then we're also going to do a broccoli spear. So, bâtonnet, cut off the ends, roughly 1.5 to 2 inches. Square it off. And then you're going to go ahead and get your bâtonnet cuts. Get them together. You've got your bâtonnet, which is roughly about 1 ounce. You can still use these for stock or for additional cuts. Okay, and then you're going to do what we call broccoli spear, no relation to Brittany. And we're going to go ahead and take off the edges. We're actually making a spear off of this. And then we're going to cut this one in half. And we're going to do what we call blanch and shock. We're going to blanch it first, cook it halfway, and then we're going to shock it in ice water to cook to stop the cooking process. As you can see, we have our bâtonnet cut. We've got our broccoli. We've got our ice water. That is our mise en place. We're going to go ahead and get that into the hot water. Okay, so at this point you can put your broccoli in. You can also put your carrots in at the same time. If it's a little bit above, if the water's a little bit lower than the broccoli, it's a good idea to put a lid on it. More than likely your carrots are going to take less time, so you're going to have to fish those out. Okay, but basically the carrots will probably take about 2 minutes. Your broccoli is going to take about 3 to 4 minutes. Okay? More important that the broccoli is shocked than the carrots. The carrots really don't discolor, but you don't want to overcook them. You want them to still be nice and firm. So on this particular application, you can use either a spider or you can use your tongs. And you want to check them. Again, it's okay if they're not completely cooked, but don't overcook them. All we're really doing here is we're just cooking them halfway. We're going to shock them in the ice water to stop the cooking process so that we can saute them. Broccoli, the same thing. Again, it might take a little longer on the broccoli because it's a little bit larger. Even though the carrots are more dense, they shouldn't take as long. On this process here, you're actually going to save your water because you're going to have to reheat the broccoli. Okay, so hold on to your water, reserve it. Okay, so here's your broccoli. It's going into the ice water. Make sure that you completely submerge it. Make sure it's nice and cold. You may leave it in the water until you're ready to actually reheat again. Okay, so you probably want to use a larger bowl with more ice, and we're going to reserve the water. All right, the rice has been removed from the oven, so this is what you're looking for, just like that. Okay, again, 19 minutes in the oven. Remove it, put a lid on it, let it rest. It'll be fine. Okay, just keep it on your stovetop, and you should be good. Okay, for the chicken, make sure that you have a Ziploc bag and that you have it in ice, okay, because you're going to be given that chicken, and once you're being given to you, you're going to take it to your station. You're not going to actually start using it until the very end, so you have to make sure that it's in a Ziploc bag with ice to keep it cold. You're going to have your brunoise of shallots. You're going to have your butter. You're going to have your stock, and then any seasoning that you want to use. I happen to have salt, pepper, granulated garlic, and paprika. Paprika gives it a little golden color to it. Okay, so you want to go ahead and get your pan on. Very important that you're going to be wearing gloves while you're doing this. You're going to put a little oil, small amount of oil. You want it roughly about medium to medium high. Then you're going to get your chicken. And very important, when you do your chicken, this is just for your chicken. Do not use it for your vegetables because I've touched the chicken and now I'm putting it in the mix. So very important that you do not reuse this on your veggie. Season it nicely, both sides. I've already got my oil in. Tilt it and add it in. Now we're doing a nice little brown color here. I'm going to go ahead and remove my glove. Okay, medium high. All you're looking for is a golden brown color. This is going to be an important step, okay, because you want to make sure that you get that nice, beautiful color. As you can see here, I've got that nice color that I'm looking for. And then we're going to turn it over, just like that. Give it a little brown, about another minute. This is your airline breast. You can see you get the wing portion there. And then you're going to go straight into the oven with the pan. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, after you remove it from the oven, as you can see, you're going to let it rest at least 5 minutes. But more importantly, you're going to have this fond, which is some of that broth that's going to come out of the chicken. This is where you're going to make that pan sauce from. Okay, at the same time, you're going to want to get your pot on for your water. You do want to cover this with either a pie pan or foil just to let it rest for at least 5 minutes, then you can put everything together. Okay, so again, be very careful. This pot's going to be hot. So after 5 minutes or so, remove it. And if you want to reserve your juice into your additional stock, you can. Okay, so this is some additional stock. You may need it, you may not need it. I'm going to actually put that in to my stock. As you can see, we have this beautiful flavor here. You got a little bit of residual of the oil. So you want to get your shallots, put those in. You could also use garlic. That'll be at your option. Here's where you're going to get creative in putting this together. At the same time, I do have my pot going. As you can see, that is going. I'm going to put the vegetables in there. Do not burn your shallots. Okay, you want to kind of scrape off some of that fond. Then you're going to add your stock or your broth. Okay, at this point, you got to bring this up to a nice little simmer. At this point, I would go ahead and put my broccoli and carrots in. Okay, again, you can do that when you're ready. I'm going to add my butter. Turn off the stove and slowly let it melt. And this is where you're going to get your sauce. Season any additional if you need to. You may not need to because you're going to have all that flavor from that chicken. While your chicken is resting, get your water going. Add your little salt and pepper in a bowl with a little olive oil or oil. Get your broccoli in and your carrots. The carrots you can actually saute if you want. Remember, the carrots won't take as long when you originally do it. Here you're just heating everything through. Okay, I've already got my oil ready to go. I got my tongs, and all I'm really wanting to do is just heat it through. Again, if you want to go ahead and get creative with your carrots, you may saute them, maybe add a little honey to them, some cardamom. Okay, and then you're ready for plate up. So your sauce should be good. This should be heated through. Remove it. And you're just going to toss in the oil, salt, pepper mix. This is what your sauce looks like. Again, if you add that butter while it's hot, it's going to separate. So you can see this has stayed up really good. Should also want to check to make sure that the seasoning is there. So double check it, taste it, make sure it's all good. We'll keep that right on top. You got your chicken. You got your rice. That's nice and hot. As you can see, it looks really nice. Okay, you got your plate. However you want to do your rice, or you can just place it on the plate. What I like to do is I'll go ahead and get my rice. How you do this is completely up to you. This is where the big points are going to come, your presentation, of course your preparation. Get your broccoli. Place that on. Okay, then you're going to get your carrots. Place those on. We'll put a little more rice on here. Should have enough here. Okay, you can arrange it. Very important that you make sure your plate is clean for the judges. So use your towel. And then you want to make sure that you have a sharp knife when you do this. Here's your Gonna add this extra stock in here, cut on a bias. You're also gonna place your sauce not on the chicken, but on the plate. You don't want this, you want this to be nice and crispy. So you're gonna cut it like so. Make sure it's a nice presentation, as you can see here. So it should go here like this. And then make sure you arrange it. Then you're going to get your sauce. You may use a spoon. Get those shallots. If you want to add some herbs to it, you may. So I'm just going to place a little bit right off the edge. And if you want to use parsley or something like that to it, you certainly can. And let me turn this around so you can take a closer look on what it should look like. Good luck.